Hey everybody, welcome to CSS From Scratch. This is the Back to Basics course that's going to get you to really understand how CSS works and how best to utilize it on today's projects. Now, who's that guy? Well, that's me. My name is Jonathan Perez, and I have been creating websites for over 11 years. Now, I've started way back in the day when we used to build websites with tables, and because SEO was a huge thing, I really had to start picking up CSS and understanding how it works in order to rank for search engines. Though it's not utilized the way it was back then, CSS is still an incredibly important foundation for websites. Now, what is CSS and why is it important? Well, the first thing you should know is that CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, the keyword here being cascading. We'll get into that a little bit later, but just know that cascading means from top to bottom, and you have to keep that in mind when you start to pick up a few other things. Now, CSS controls how your site looks. All of the colors, the fonts, line heights, layouts, etc. are all controlled through cascading style sheets. CSS and HTML are the base of every website. It's the structure where everything is built on. If you build a site and don't have any style sheets on it, it's basically going to look like a Word document with just a bunch of type on it. So anything that you see can literally be built with CSS. Here's an example that I wanted to pull up. All of these different images, the font sizes, the different colors, the size of the main heading, the images in the background, the circular image, the cool hover effects that you see on websites are all accomplished via CSS. Once you get a solid understanding of how it works, you will be able to troubleshoot 90% of the problems that most people have when they attempt to build websites. And I am not even kidding about this. If you go to any Facebook group that's part of some type of web program, you're going to constantly see questions of people asking how to do this and how to do that. And 90%, I'm even going to say 95% of the time, the answer is you can do that with CSS. Because you can literally do anything with CSS. It controls your entire website. It controls how it looks. The only thing it doesn't control is the functionality of your website. That's different. That's called back-end coding. Now, CSS is all of your front-end coding. I know I'm trying to throwing out some words here, but we're going to get to all of this very soon. So these examples that I'm showing you, these are all things that were built with CSS. So once you get a firm grasp of it, you're going to be able to build sites just like this with no problem because you're going to understand how it works and how to use it. If you can see it, it can be done via CSS. So what's the problem? I bet most of you didn't even know that there was a problem, but there is, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. You see, the main issue is that when people learn how to create websites, they skip over the foundation. They pick up a few things here and there just to get by, but they really don't understand how it works. I mean, you can see things like Weebly and Webs and Wix and even WordPress. There are plugins out there that help you build websites, but when you don't understand the foundation, it's incredibly easy to just get stuck. So with this course, I'm actually going to try to show you the foundation of CSS, and I'm going to try to save you all those hours that people waste trying to figure things out. Because time is money. And when you're running a business, when you're trying to build websites, the faster you could do something or the less time you have to spend trying to troubleshoot something, the better off you are. And remember, like I said before, about 95% of your issues can be solved with a little bit of CSS. So what are you going to learn in this course? Well, you're going to learn the correct terminology when referencing CSS code because a lot of people just like to throw things out there and it gets confusing when other people don't know what they're talking about, but you do. So I'm going to show you exactly the right terminology to use when you're referencing things of CSS like attributes and syntax and things like that. You're going to start to understand how CSS works from the cascading part all the way to the different attributes and syntax. You'll also learn the basics of how to create a simple CSS. You'll learn about specificity and why you need to know it. You learn the key CSS elements that nobody understands, but they need to. And this is usually floats and positioning. This is what most people really get confused on, but I'm going to explain to you exactly how it works and how to use it. You're also going to learn the best practices on how to structure your style sheet. So, with that said, what you really need to keep in mind is that you are not a professional overnight. Okay? These things take years. Well, we'll start off with months, but they take years to master. You can learn it in months, but it's going to take time of constantly just doing it and doing it and doing it. It takes practice. You'll only get better if you constantly work on projects and you keep going. So at Web Design from Scratch, what we're going to try to do is keep you as busy as possible with new video tutorials and projects so you can practice everything as you learn. In the next video, we're going to start the lessons and we're going to start to break down CSS so you really get an understanding of it.